Y'all, I made it. I made it back down the mountaintop. And my hair a little messed up because I was up there crying out, sweating, and worshiping, all that good stuff. But anyway, while I was up there, coming back down actually, man, listen, I came to this little curve, and it was about like 6 lizards, y'all, and they just turned, they were looking at me like, we ain't finna move. You better bust a move. And I'm like, oh my God, these lizards are gangster. Like, they not scared. They not running. They just standing there. So I'm like, okay, God, what am I going to do? Am I going to just stand here and wait till they leave? Or am I going to just, like, try to throw something at them? Am I going to try to walk over them? Am I going to try to jump over them? Like, what am I about to do? Like, I'm trying to contemplate this. Like, what are we doing, God? What are we doing? So I'm like, I turned back around, and I'm like, ain't nothing. I don't want to pick up something to try to throw at them, and then they all come charging at me and all that. I'm about to be freaking out if that happened, right? So I'm like, okay, I'm just stumped. So I stumped, and they still looking. I said, okay. So I said, I'm going to kick some dirt up. They ain't budge. So I'm like, oh my God, what is going on here? So as I was like, man, forget this, because if I sit here, now it's hot out here now, so I'm like, the snakes is not far away, and that's my fear. I do not like snakes. I'm like, yeah, God, I know Paul got bit by a snake and all that stuff. He lived, and yeah, that's a wonderful story. That's beautiful. I praise you for it. But God, I do not want that to be me. I'm like, listen, any noise I hear, I'm like, woo, Jesus, wait a minute. Is it a bird? Is it a snake? What is it? You know what I'm saying? I'm nervous. So I'm standing there like, God, what am I finna do? So I got an unction in my spirit to just charge, like to just run towards them, right? So I run towards them, and as I started running towards them, I'm like, now, if they don't move, I don't want it to try to crawl on my foot. So my crazy self, I leaped. Like, I kind of skipped over them, right? And as I got closer to them, they scattered. So I started to dwell on that. Like, why is it when I charge to them, they scattered? And I felt in my spirit, God was like, that's how you do your attacks. You don't run away from the attack. You don't take a detour around the attack. You charge. You go through the attack. And when you go through the attack, I will, when you start to go through, I will carry you to the other side. So, and that's exactly what happened. I'm like, God, I said, God, what are we going to do? So, God gave me the unction to charge. So I charged through. And as I charged through, they scattered. So I say that to say, for those of y'all who are dealing with trials and tribulations, with different attacks in different areas of your life, don't run from the attack. Don't, try to take a detour from the attack. You talk to God. And you know God is on your side, because in his word, he says he never leaves you nor forsake you. So you know God is with you. So what you do is you charge at the attack. And when you charge at the attack, Jehovah Nissi, come on, God. Jehovah Nissi, the banner that goes before me. That's what Jehovah Nissi means. So as you start to charge, God is going before you to move the attacks to fan the attacks out of the way. Hallelujah. To fan the attacks so you can go through and not be overtaken by the attack. But you can overcome the attack and defeat the attack that the enemy has set before you. That's just like when they was running from the Egyptians, and they was running towards the Red Sea. Now, if you read in Exodus, it says that the Lord was before them. He was their Jehovah Nissi before them as they ran towards the Red Sea. Now, what happened was God had removed himself from in front of them and went behind them he was in front of them, part of the Red Sea, of course. They went through, and then he went behind them to close the Red Sea and to attack and so the Egyptians could, drown in the water. But I say that to say, when you're going through an attack, call on the Lord, and the God is, Jesus is in you. Activate that. Use what is in you. Use a power that you have in you to take you through the attacks without fear. Take you through, because I promise you, once I got the unction to just go through them lizards, I didn't have fear. I'm like, whew, we're about to go through. God, I done called on you. I invited you into my situation, is what you guys got to do. Invite God into your situation. Call on him, and he will help you, take you through the attack without a limp, without a bruise, without a scar. Y'all understand me? Y'all catching this by the Spirit? Once you call on God to help you go through, you're going to overcome that thing, because Jesus has already defeated the world, okay? So, you guys remember when you're going through your attacks, to call on Jesus.